I'm here at the Gartner Data Center conference here in Las Vegas with Dave Ohara. Dave, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So tell us a little bit about the blog you write.
So I have a blog called Green Data Center, www.greenm3.com. Actually, recently I added the whole idea of a low carbon being the green data center. So I talk about the data center industry, all kinds of different parts, everything from construction to servers to software, cloud.
That was something I thought was pretty interesting as you started talking about the ecosystem. There's more than just one. When I first think about it, I think about software, hardware, but there's a lot more players and vendors involved. Who are some of the others that are involved?
That is a very complex part. Most people don't see. I guess the people who really build data centers know this, but part of it is the site selection process. And who does site selection? There are consultants that do that. Some of the top companies are Jones Lang LaSalle, Cushman Wakefield, Grubb & Ellis, and these are your typically really large real estate companies that for big enterprise clients, they say we can help you do a site selection for a data center.
And so there was other people too, just the engineers and the architect.
Yeah. So then after you do the site selection, then typically you move over to an architecture and engineering firm. So again, top firms that is EYP that HP acquired, Cisco Hennessy is another one that's tops, CH2M Hill, RTKL. Then after that, it kind of falls off quickly, but those are some of the top engineering companies. And then after you have the engineering design, then you go off to the construction companies. And actually, that is one of my more popular Google hits that'll be on who's the top data center construction companies. And they're Holder Construction, DPR, Structure Tone, Turner Construction, and Skanska. So those are like the top five. So it's an interesting, as you say, an ecosystem because there's about top 3 to 5 players in each segment. And then same thing when you go to power systems, same thing when you go to cooling systems. There's a whole set of vendors that have interesting relationships with each other.
And then one thing that you said surprised me is that it seems a bit staid, which is surprising given that so much is happening recently with people trying to get the most efficiencies. It seems to be such a hot area. I think there'd be a lot of new players coming in.
I think the hard thing for getting new players in is the amount of investment it takes to start up a business to be in the area, right? So if you're going to be an engineering firm, you need dozens and dozens of engineers. You need a complete U.S. presence, if not maybe an international presence. And that's what the top players are. When you get to the smaller guys, that's again where there'll be a regional player. When you go to the site selection guys, is they need to be able to do many times a nationwide search. So do they have the resources to search the whole U.S., get the data, provide the reports to the client that says where's an ideal place to build a data center? So that's, I think, the hard part of why, I don't know if it gets so staid, it's just the
barrier to entry?
Yeah, the barrier to entry is fairly high to get in this business of data center. And typically it's when people have been in it for dozens of years. Now, the thing that's most disruptive is, of course, cloud computing. But how does cloud computing really disrupt data centers? I don't know if you could say really that's as disruptive as the fact of Google saying it's going to design its own data centers and build data centers differently. I think what Google's doing is probably more disruptive to the market because they're doing their own engineering.
Excellent. David Ohara, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.